Hey guys, it's Aaron back with another review for you. Today I'm going to be talking about the movie Walking Tall, the 2004 version. For those of you who don't know, it is actually a remake of a film of the same name made in 1973 starring Joe Don Baker. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the Dukes of Hazzard remake, but if I am correct, he is the mayor in that film. I might be wrong, don't quote me. But anyway, got my notes, let's dive right in. So, Walking Tall, released April 2nd, 2004, directed by Kevin Bray, starring Dwayne Johnson. This was back when I think he was just The Rock still, so that's how old we're talking. This might be one of his first films feature-wise. Johnny Knoxville, Neil McDonough, Ashley Scott, Kevin Durant, John Beasley, Cleo Thomas, and Barbara Tarbuck. So the plot is the same as the original. Basically, a man comes back to his hometown after being in the military for some time, and he comes back to find that his town is not the same anymore. It's a small town, as a lot of these films tend to be. Small and tight-knit community. Everybody knows everyone, and it's safe and friendly and all that. But now the place has become overrun with casinos and drugs, and just it's like a little suburbia now. So that's probably not the right word, but you know what I'm saying. It's like a mini Vegas kind of in his small little town. As someone who lives in a small town, I can definitely relate to that, and it definitely would be a culture shock coming back to see big, huge buildings in the streets of my town. I'd probably it'd be insane. Anyway, but yeah, so that's the plot, and it pretty much sticks to that. It's a pretty straightforward narrative. He, comes back, finds his town crappy, and decides, well, I got to change something about it, and so he decides to run for sheriff. And it's I believe this was The Rock's second major role. Like I said, I think he had done The Rundown first, but this is the one I really think kind of maybe propelled him into an official acting career outside of the WWE. But with that being said, it's a good debut. As well, not debut, but you know what I mean. It's a good outing for him. He does a really good job. He holds his own against some greats. People that are actually at the time, or actors, when he was just acting on a different style back then. So I don't know if he had done much Hollywood stuff, so to speak. But no, he holds his own. It's a really good film. They're smart with it. They don't make it overly serious, but it is serious when it needs to be, and the comedy is just as great as the writing. It's really funny, and I think they did a really smart job getting Johnny Knoxville, who I think a lot of people just are like, oh, he's the jackass guy, he's nobody. But if you go back and look at Johnny Knoxville's work, he's actually a really good actor. He's probably pretty underrated as well. I remember seeing him for the first time in the movie Lords of Dogtown, and I was like, oh man, it's Johnny Knoxville. He's doing really well. So there's that. But yeah, the premise, like I said, it's pretty easy to follow, and it sticks through for the whole film. It's really nice to see all of the different uh, interactions with the people, because the Rock's coming back, like I said, and Neil McDonough is the main antagonist, if you will. But they're friends. They've known each other forever, and so it's kind of hard when you come back and it's like, okay, these are now my adversaries, but they were my friends last time I was here. So it's one of those kind of tricky situations, and the cops aren't doing anything about it because it brings either they're on the payroll, or it brings in inventory and money for the town, so they think the ends justify the means, which that's up to you, remains to be seen. You'll see in the film if you watch it. But no, it's a really good cast. Everyone does a good job. One of my favorite people is in it, Kevin Durand. I took forever for me to learn his name, but he is in so many films, and you've probably seen him and just didn't know his name. But he's in it. He's funny. He's great. He's just a big, tall brute, but you gotta love him for it. So there's nothing overly special about it. It does look fine, but there's nothing crazy, like great cinematography wise or writing. There's nothing special about it, but there's also nothing wrong with it, which, like I've said before, and I'll say it again, there's nothing wrong with that. If you do minimal things, but you still get your point across, and it's a nice A to B thing, and it ends up a good finished product, that's cool with me, you know. And I like bad movies sometimes. Not that this is close, but you never know. Um, but yeah, all in all, it's a good film. I definitely recommend it. You'd probably be able to find it on TV somewhere. I watched it on TNT. I hadn't seen it for probably 15, 20 years. And it was just as good as I remember. I saw it back in the day. Shout out to Jacob. He and his dad were going to go see it, and he kept telling me the film was called Walkie Talkie. And I was like, okay. And I mean, I was in anyway because I loved going to see movies, but I was just like, okay, whatever. And then we get there and it's like Walking Tall. I'm like, okay, I still don't know what this is, but all right, it's definitely not Walkie Talkie. I don't know what kind of a film Walkie Talkie would have been, but I can't imagine it would have been a good one. So luckily we got this, and yeah, it's, you know, like I said, it's a short one too. It's only like an hour and a half, so it's a nice, easy watch. So even if you don't like it, you don't have to sit through it that long. But I definitely recommend it. It's uh, it's a nice little film, and I think you could bring your kids. I mean, there's definitely some adult things, but I think as long as you're there to explain it to them, they're gonna be fine. There's no gratuitous sex or over violence. There's violence, but there's not like gore or anything like that. So one scene, one scene. Now that it's a little. But anyway, no, like I said, I definitely recommend it. I'll give it a 5 out of 10, and check it out. Let me know what you think. If you like what you heard, like and subscribe, and I will see you with the next video, guys. All right, take care.